This week, we've got the next installment in the series on steps to buying a house with 5 tips on how to win in a multiple offer situation. And we're starting right now. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Harry Moore, and I'm a realtor in the Washington, D.C. metro area, and I post new videos every week, all about things real estate in the DMV. So, you've been watching the new listings like a hawk, and something that looks great pops up. You rush out to see it, and most of your bullet points are right there. Remember, there's no perfect house, but if you can get one that hits 80% or 90% of your list, you're doing really well. You talk to your agent, you look at the comparables, and you decide that you want to make an offer. Since it's a great looking house, well priced and fresh on the market, you may find yourself in a multiple offer situation. If you're watching this video in the DC metro area, the contract packets can vary from 25 to 50 pages long, depending on the jurisdiction and the type of property. But don't worry, I'm not going to go through all of that stuff with you. I don't want you to run away. This is just a brief outline of some of the options you have available to you, but you decide which ones do or don't work for you. Everyone has their own level of tolerance for risk, and each buyer's financial situation is different. Some people just don't want to be in a multiple offer situation, period. And that's totally understandable. If so, then you may need to reconsider the slice of the real estate market that you're looking at. I have a video, I'll post the link up here somewhere, about how to put together your market search. Have a talk with your agent, and maybe you need to recalibrate your search. All of that being said, let's look at some key items that you need to think about when you're writing an offer that may be competing. First tip, begin with your best offer. Realize that you are trying to get the opportunity to be the new owner, and you may only get one chance. Buyers sometimes say to me, well, the seller can always come back to us, and that's true, they can, but if they have more than one offer to choose from, they probably won't. Tip number 2, use an escalation clause. Carefully. I may actually do a whole separate video on escalation clauses. If that's something that you'd like, just let me know in the comments and I'll put one together. First thing is your agent will want to confirm verbally with the listing agent that there actually are other offers before you submit your offer with an escalation clause. The way I usually process the whole offer is I go through everything with the buyers, fill it all out, including the escalation clause, and then put the escalation clause aside as a separate document. And then it can be added when the offer's sent over, depending on if they're competing offers or not. The buyer has the choice. There are 2 key terms to be decided within the escalation clause. One is the increment, or the step, and the other is the cap, or the maximum value. Let's talk about increments first. Generally, increments of 1% of the sales price are a good baseline, but that can vary. Depends on the price range of the property, how many competing offers there are, how badly the buyer wants the house, lots of other variables. The other part of the escalation clause is the cap, and the way that I try to help people with that is I ask them this question. If someone else is willing to pay $1,000 more than your cap for the house, then you should be able to say they can have it. You'll be content to walk away without second guessing yourself if that happens. Number 3, remove or modify the appraisal language. The first thing to know about this is that the buyer has to have some extra cash if necessary. If you don't, then this one's not for you. There are 2 ways that I have helped people use this in the past. The first would be to cap your liability if the appraisal language is modified. And what this means is if the appraisal were to come back low, then you say that you would be willing to contribute money to make up that shortfall up to a predetermined maximum. That's a way of sort of sharing the risk with the seller. The second way would be for you to assume the entire potential risk if the appraisal were to come back low. If you're an educated buyer and have reviewed the comparables, well, you should have a pretty good idea about the fair market value of the property. So you can decide if that's a risk that you feel comfortable with. This is really something that I only suggest for buyers that have substantial extra cash reserves and the stomach for it. Number 4, write a generous earnest money deposit. The earnest money is the check that goes with the offer and is deposited once your offer is accepted. When you write the earnest money check, you should have the funds either in the checking account or somewhere they can be transferred instantly once the offer is accepted. A big earnest money amount shows the seller that you are serious about moving forward if your offer is accepted. I've seen competing offers on the table that I'd been through with the sellers over and over again, where they were virtually identical. There really was hardly any way to distinguish them. And the seller said, I'll take this one because the earnest money check is bigger. The amount of the earnest money that you're going to have to write depends on the type of financing that you're getting and the jurisdiction that you're in. This is another time when a good agent can give you expert guidance. All right, we're headed down the home stretch with number 5, a pre-approval letter from a lender contingent only on appraisal and normal underwriting guidelines. Another thing is that the loan amount should be in the letter if at all possible. If you've already been through full underwriting as opposed to just desktop underwriting, that's even better, and the lender should put it in the letter. I also ask the loan officer to call the listing agent before the offer is presented to the seller. That way they can address any questions, and it shows that we're going to be a good team to work with. A strong letter from a recognized lender is also very important these days. I talk about the importance of working with a recognized local lender in an earlier video. Click here to watch that video if you're interested. Well, that just about wraps it up. I am Harry Moore with Keller Williams Capital Properties, and I want to say thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you liked what you saw, please mash that like button. Happy thumbs are most appreciated. Also, if you want to see more videos about real estate in the DMV, then subscribe and ring that bell so you'll be updated whenever new videos come out. Make it a great day, and I'll see you again soon.